Live Xcurrent is the thing that they're using most right now, and that's just an alternative for Swift that doesn't even use their coin.
So Hugo has asked about the token XRP and whether I think it's a non-compliant security. I've spoken publicly. Yes, I do think it's a non-compliant security. But this will not be resolved just by the Securities and Exchange Commission. It will be resolved by some courts, whether it's appellate courts or the Supreme Court. So what I believe is just that. It's a belief. But why would I say that? I think back to the Howey test. I think they are exchanging XRP. Ripple, the company, is exchanging XRP for something of value. And they're using it right now. They sell it every month. It's in a lockup. It's in an escrow. And they sell XRP every month. Ripple, the company, initially did the Genesis block back in 2013, but kept 80% of the tokens. Now they have about 60% of the token. But they sell it on a continuous basis, 100 million to 200 million or so a month of value. Two, I think it is relying on a common enterprise. I think Ripple, the company, XRP investors are very much relying on Ripple, the company. And that if Ripple, the company, went away, as you noted, there's not much use of XRP. In fact, for the first 3 or 4 years, or 5 years even, there was no use, and then they prototyped something called Xrp. Xcurrent, the main product of Ripple, the company, is a messaging and apparently a clever one that's competing with Swift. But Xrp, the prototype, doesn't have a large community right now. So it's highly centralized around Ripple, the company, the development, the node network, the ownership is 55 or 60% owned by them. They're promoting it as such, but it will be settled.
Look, I'm glad the president's meeting with his regulators because this space has needed attention for some time. Frankly, we're talking crypto especially, but the whole state of financial regulation is having a hard time keeping up with the fintech, innovation that is, moving much faster than regulators can. So I think one of the big things that he has to talk about is how do we do, federal policy that makes it clear what is a security and what is not. That's Gensler with the SEC. You have XRP, for example, is a cryptocurrency that could be very useful for the payment system. But Ripple, how separate and distinct is that as an entity? And if they exercise a lot of control over it, it might look a lot like a security. If there truly is a firewall there, it might look like it's not a security. And we've tried for a long time to get a bright line test there to make it so it's less subjective for regulators. And, one of the encouraging things is Gensler really understands that. He taught blockchain courses at MIT prior to taking this current role. So it's good that he has some expertise there, and hopefully he'll listen and have good dialogue.
The primary marketplace, initial coin offerings. There was a technologist, J.R. Willett, back in 2012, and he said, you could build something on top of Bitcoin, and you could pre-fund, and you could get people just to crowd fund a project. And what came to be raised off of J.R. Willett's little innovation, he by the way did not get rich on it, $20 to $30 billion were raised. And my observation is in some jurisdictions like the U.S., we find ourselves thinking about things like the Howey test and what is an investment contract, because this new permissionless crowdfunding sure feels like a security. What advice would you have for this audience and for the thousands of people who are, in some cases, feeling that they're waiting for the SEC to give more clarity in this work? Well, I find myself agreeing with Chairman Clayton, Hester's colleague who runs the commission, when he says he really hasn't seen many initial coin offerings that are not securities. I can't remember the exact words, but he said it, and he said it so many times in variation. Are you kind of, in a sense, conceptually where he is, or particularly if it's pre-functional? If it is not yet up and running, I frankly can't see how it would be anything other than an investment contract if it is yet to be functional.
Well, but if you're selling tokens to someone who wants to have those tokens because the person wants to participate in that network, why would that necessarily have to be a security?
Because I think you're, back to the Howey test, relying on the efforts of a common enterprise, a development team that for almost all altcoins is 2 to 6 developers or some computer folks working on it. They may or may not be at one company, but it's a common enterprise of others, and you're buying it at some discount. You're anticipating appreciation because if it's non-functional, I can't use it yet to go to the theater. I can't use it yet to get file storage. I can't use it for anything. Almost by economic rationale, it will be at a discount.
Well, I mean, I think this is why it's a really difficult question, because sometimes these networks really do count on the activities of many people, right? So that's one feature. And the other is there are lots of things, like I might buy a watch now, knowing that it's going to appreciate in value. So
but hopefully you can tell the time on the watch now.
You hope, right? But it might be sitting in a drawer because really what I care about is that it's appreciating in value and I don't want to get it scratched in the meantime, right? And so I do think that we've seen lots of ICOs that are securities offerings, but I'm not willing to make the blanket statement that there's no way that you could set up a pre-functional network and sell tokens on it and not have it be a securities offering. That said, I think if you're planning to do that, you're planning to sell tokens on a pre-functional network, you better be very careful and you better get very good legal advice, because it's going to be very easy for you to tip into the securities bucket.
And I guess maybe you'd agree with me, once it's functional, it may or may not be a security. It doesn't mean if it's functional, it is always not a security.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, I come back with that video just to make you think. And just to touch on cryptos a little, guys, do not allow this dip to scare you. We're going to come up for a couple of days and then we have CME. So remember I told you, over the next 2.5 weeks is going to be a roller coaster. Plus we have grayscale. But getting over into Gary Gensler. Gary Gensler admitted a long time ago the SEC is not going to do anything. It's going to happen in the court. That's the reason why the Ripple versus SEC movie keeps going on. Because this is a part of the plan. They're going to keep prolonging this, guys. Remember, regulation is going to stop a lot of the casino. They're not ready to stop this casino yet. Remember, they're building the 4th Industrial Revolution. But once they do bring in regulation, that's going to cut us down to 1%. And then after that, we go on a utility bull run. Remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. Because when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. Y'all have a wonderful day.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort. And China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.